Hello, everybody, and welcome here today to the GGR Oregon Diecast IndyCar Series, Season 3 here. As I said, it's presented by Oregon Diecast. Make sure you go check them out on Instagram at Oregon Diecast. As we are here today for the Turn4Graphics 200 here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That's right, folks, 80 laps, $20 on the line to the winner of today's event here. I'm joined up in the booth by Quentin Haley, per usual. Quentin, we're here in qualifying right now. As we can see, we still got about 2 minutes left. We have Ryan Ayers on track right now. We're seeing a pretty interesting differential in some times. We've got some guys who are close on track, such as the top two, Cortez and Sharps. We've got some guys who are a little far off of the field, like Jarek Hernandez. What are you seeing so far here in qualifying that you think may translate to today's event, Quentin?
Well, Brazen, we're seeing a lot of times pretty close together right now. There's not a big speed differential. There's not really much talent it takes to run here in one of these Indy cars at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's pretty much wide open for the first about 10 to 15 laps on those tires. But I am noticing that some cars are doing less well in qualifying, which seems to be showing that maybe they don't have a good qualifying setup, but they're really going to be strong during the race.
Yeah, I would agree. Like I said, man, really excited for today's event. 80 laps. It is the biggest race of the season here in GGR. Usually in your NASCAR leagues, you kind of have your first race as your big race, your big Daytona event. Sometimes in your dirt racing, it's usually like your championship race. That's usually where you get your big guys. But right here on the IndyCar stuff, the open wheel stuff, is usually Indianapolis comes as your big event, and GGR. 3 seasons in the running now, they've made it, and every season so far, there's been money on the line to win. The winner 2 seasons ago, Henry Clapper, the GGR all-time wins leader, we've mentioned he's missed a couple of events. He's here tonight in that 34 machine. He's put down a time P7 on the charts. Q, do you think that old Henry Clapper may have a chance at something here tonight?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing Henry Clapper back on track. As you said, it's been a while. It's been a couple races since we've seen him. Uh, you know, he's been out of the seat a while though, so I don't know if he's got some nerves. Maybe he just needs to get refreshed on how these cars drive. But I'm gonna pick him as one of my guys to look out for you tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree that Henry Clapper definitely got to look out for tonight. Um, Last year's winner in this event, Bryce Armstrong, not here tonight. So Henry Clapper pretty much coming in here looking to defend a crown, as he's the only driver in the field who can come in here to do so. As qualifying seems to be coming to a close here, we've had 12 drivers pick up a lap here. Let's get into the track info for tonight before we get into the starting grid. As we're here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Oval, it is a 2.5 mile oval, 4 turns, located in Speedway, Indiana, at an altitude of 730 feet. Tonight's race info, we are going to go 80 laps, which clocks in at 200 miles, with an average lap time of about 42 seconds. These guys are going pretty fast. Q, you want to go over the weather for today's event?
Yeah, for sure. The temperature of the track right now is 81 degrees Fahrenheit. We got clear skies, zero chance of rain today, and we got a wind speed of 3 miles per hour. A little bit about it, the track. It's 9 degrees of banking in all 4 turns. The first Indianapolis 500 was run in 1911, so a bit of a long time this race has been going. And something for GGR specifically tonight, we'll be doing a 3 wide salute at the start. This is it's going to be interesting to see if these drivers can really figure that out. We've seen them struggle all season long with those restarts, so it's going to be really challenging for these guys to go 3 wide at the initial start here.
Yeah, 3 wide start. It's going to be pretty impressive. You see you guys lining up 2 by 2 here. But, I mean, 97-degree track temp. I mean, they're lucky that it's clear skies out here because it's a pretty warm track, I'd say. 81 degrees, a little cool for Indianapolis standards. Of course, usually this race is ran towards the summer in May. But, we're on iRacing, so we are... I don't know actually what the official in-sim date is for today's event, but nevertheless, let's get into tonight's starting grid here presented by JP Designs. Vincent Cortez is going to be on the pole for today's race in the 81. That's his first career pole here in the GGR Oregon Diecast IndyCar Series. To his outside is going to be Anthony Sharps in the 92. Row 2 inside, a surprise there, Aiden Oxidine in the 4, and who is outside Austin Duran in the 25. Nick Pena lining up P5, Ethan Harrison who is outside in P6. As we said, at GGR all-time wins leader Henry Clapper P7 tonight. Ryan Ayers, flying Ryan Ayers to be exact, here in P8.
Starting P9 is Ryan Martin, P10 Dejan Hall, 11th Ethan Workman, 12th Jarek Hernandez, 13th Garrett White, 14th Josh Patterson, Starting 15th is Paul Granada, 16th Scott Ferguson Jr.
And rounding out the 20 car field for today's event, Jay Mulder in the 51 P17. He won Texas and the Homestead Road Course. Blake Kennedy P18, he won Phoenix. So we got a couple of race winners so far this season, starting row 9. Final row inside, we have the 21 of Ryan Kamen, who is outside the 37 of Jack Leslie. And man, 3 wide start here. I'm really excited for this one, Q. What do you think is going to happen here? As actually, we have
Well,
some guys pit starting. Sorry to say, Paul Granada and Jay Mulder, our teammates here, are pit starting. That's a pretty interesting strategy. I guess that's kind of my new question for you, Q. What do you think about their strategy to pit start here?
well, they must be scared of the 3 wide salute, and I don't know if it's just, you know, they don't think that they have the talent necessary to do it. But you know, we've also seen some of the starts for these races go incredibly wrong really quickly. So I don't know if it's them being scared of their lack of talent or if they're just trying to play it safe here.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, GGR, we've had a few rough races here in GGR, past 3 specifically. So race control Ethan Harrison really helps that things kind of have an uprise here, as these guys are coming around turn 4, and man, it's going to be an exciting start here. 3 wide. You won't really see this anywhere else besides maybe some dirt racing. Coming off of turn 4, Vincent Cortez fires off a little early there. I'm not sure what they're going to call that there, but we fired off here. Green flag is out here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for 80 laps of action here as they go through turns 1 and 2. Looks like Aiden Oxidine side by side with Vincent Cortez for the lead as they head through short chute number 2 down to the back straightaway. As already.
Yeah, right now all these drivers are really just fighting for whatever position they can get. You know, tires really wear out quickly here at Indy. I mean, I think there's only a 10-lap fuel run. So really right now they're just trying to get all settled in, find their position, start trying to work that draft, start trying to work the lines, and just kind of like start taking it easy maybe. I think that's going to be kind of the key to tonight, is just making sure that you keep your car underneath you, save what you can, and make sure that you keep it clean for when you come back home.
Yeah, and as we see here, Outlaw Racing teammates Henry Clappert and Blake Kennedy working together here. Back P12, P13. Looks like they're being a little patient right now. As up front, Aiden Oxidine leading some of his first laps here in the GGR IndyCar Series season. Austin Duran P3. Ryan Martin up to P4. He's also a pretty strong competitor here in GGR. He's definitely another guy I'd look out for. And a little bit of a 3 wide slicing and dicing back here. Ethan Harrison, Nick Pena going at it side by side here as they enter 3.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. You can already see it now. When you enter side by side with a guy and you're following in that line and in that draft, you really just got to keep your nose clear of any of that dirty air that's being thrown up by these cars. You know, high downforce is going to be a lot of wake, a lot of dirty air thrown up. So you just got to make sure that you can keep your car clean and above that dirty air, just making sure you get all that downforce.
Yeah, as they single file it out now, really interesting to see how everything's going to play out here. We still have some guys side by side back here. Kennedy, Workman, Clappert, Patterson kind of up in this pack back here. But up front, a lot of guys. Oh, Vincent Cortez having a little bit of a network issue. That's going to actually stack the field up here as they're going to go 2 by 2 here through 3. And Cortez looking to retake the lead here as he did start on the pole for today's event. And man, Austin Duran, he's looking P2 here. And Duran last season, I don't know if anybody really remembers it here. It was broadcasted here on WARC TV. Austin Duran took out the leader, Christian Visconti, on the backstretch on the white flag. Of course, it was more so a racing incident. I can't very well say that Duran just took him out, but definitely a guy to look out for. Duran was up front last season, got into Visconti, and he's definitely looking for a little bit of a different outcome this time around as he looks to go for P1.
Well, you know what I'm noticing right now, Brazen, is that Paul Granat and Jay Mulder, both of them who started in the pit lane, they are running slower lap times right now than the rest of the pack. So I don't know if it was really a wise choice to start that far, you know, give themselves that much of a gap there, because they're just losing time right now to that pack. And if it just keeps going green flag like this, they're going to go a lap down.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree. I mean, it was definitely a very risky strategy to pit start. I mean, you got to consider some of GGR's history for sure, but I mean, if this thing goes green for anything longer than a fuel run, I'd say they're screwed. I believe you mentioned, oh, never mind.
Caution,
And as soon as I say that, we are just proven wrong as a caution comes out, and that's really going to
Oh
save
my
Jay
goodness.
Mulder. Well, that 25 car is just stuck in the grass, trying to get it back going here. But yeah, Paul Granat and Jay Mulder really needed that caution.
Several cars up and over there as we'll pull this back up here. I believe it started with Aiden Oxidine in the 4. So this was the last lap, it looks like. So let's move this thing
Yeah,
forward a
Hayden
little
Oxide
bit.
doing a really good job there, just making sure his nose is
Oh,
clean.
looked like
Ooh, a little
contact
bit of
with
contact.
P2. Sent him up and over. Duran involved. Patterson gets a little bit of it. Blake Kennedy, what an avoidance. Ryan Ayers involved. I want to go take a look here at Blake Kennedy's camera for that thing because he looked like he had a pretty solid wreck avoidance here. Let me see if I can pull up the driver of the 75 real quick here and go back and take a quick look and see what things looked like from his perspective. So this was on the front straightaway. You see here, you're kind of in the pack right here, and you honestly really can't see much of what's going on in front of you because of the way these guys are lined up. So going through 3 and 4 right here, I mean, I want to see how much of this incident could Blake see here. And there's P2 washing up into Oxidine. Watch here, Kennedy dives to the apron. All of a sudden, cars are spinning in front of him. Check up. Good avoidance here by Blake Kennedy in that 75.
Yeah, that was really professional, Blake Kennedy. Just some heads-up driving there. You know, the last thing you want is for a wreck to happen in front of you, and then you just gas it up and run into a car and just slam into their driver's side door. That's the last thing you want. And luckily, Blake Kennedy has enough skill where he stopped that from happening. As we have the field coming down
Looks
pit
like
road for
most
their
of them,
first stop
yeah.
of the night.
Yeah, as you mentioned, I mean, there's been some times where some guys, I mean, they don't really brake for things. They try to avoid it. Maybe some guys try to go down pit road, but I mean, you got cars flying everywhere. You really have to be on your brake pedal, and there's just some guys out there who really aren't like that. They just can't ever get slowed down for those wrecks, get themselves involved 9 times out of 10. And Blake Kennedy, fortunate to be one of those guys who didn't get himself involved in a wreck in that instance.
Well, you know, when I started my racing career, I was told by a guy named Buford that when there is a wreck ahead of you, you just got to hit those brakes. So, you know, whenever I see a wreck and I'm in my dirt modified, I just say, hit the brakes, Buford. And that's what some of these guys got to do. And that's what we saw Blake Kennedy do expertly there.
Yeah, if any of you guys are real life race car drivers, take some advice from Q Haley here. Hit the brakes, Buford. That's a good slogan. That's a good slogan. We should use that one more often. I don't think I've ever heard that one before. As Ethan Harrison, it looks like he pulled off P1 off of pit road. I'm not sure. Maybe he just took fuel. Some of these guys took tires. Vincent Cortez P2. Josh Patterson jumped a lot of positions. He's up here in a P3. I mean, Patterson is going from pretty much the back to the front here, Q. You think he's going to be a little more aggressive up here now that he's up front, try to get the lead some laps here? Oh.
Coming back down pit road, but I'll talk about him anyways. You know, Josh Patterson, we've seen him multiple times where he'll probably start deeper in the field for a lot of these races and just drive his way forward. I don't know if that's necessarily his, you know, skill gap. Maybe he's just a little more skilled than a lot of these guys. You know, he's a really good iRacer. Or if it's just him knowing, I guess he's not going down pit road. There must be some miscommunication with the spotter there. Maybe he just doesn't know what's going on. However, Josh Patterson, definitely one of those guys you need to look out for tonight. I think he's going to be strong. However, we've seen that aggression that he brings to each race really get him in trouble sometimes.
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen him get in trouble for not just aggression on track, but vocal aggression too. He can be a very warty driver when it comes to incidents on track. So, I mean, if you're Josh Patterson, you really have to watch out for what you say sometimes, because sometimes it comes back to bite you. And so he's got to make sure he's trying to make more friends and enemies out here on the track. And like I said, it's not always just what he does on track. Sometimes it's what he says vocally too. So as we see him come back down pit road, we see Blake Kennedy lock it up as he comes back down pit road. Looks like Henry Clappert is going to gain a few positions off of this. Never mind, he's coming
Yeah,
down
it looks
pit road
like the
too.
second pit stop for a lot of these guys are just taking fuel, just topping back off. I think that's a really smart decision. You know, I think fuel run is going to be really important for this race. And just getting that little extra bit's going to allow you to take some more laps, you know, maybe run a bit longer and try to get an overcut on some of these guys that didn't take that fuel.
Yeah, I'm really confused with what Clappert's doing. He was in his
Well,
box,
before we
pulled
start
out.
Well, before we start making fun of Henry Clapper, let's just remember he is the most winningest driver in GGR as he phases in and out of reality.
And Jay Mulder is taking out every traffic cone possible with him. You would have think he just hit on a girl the way he was trying to hit on all those cones, because Jay Mulder, he definitely is one of those guys that always likes to try to go for that stuff. So,
Well, luckily, I don't think Jay Mulder has taken flight recently, so he shouldn't be catching any of those feelings.
as Back up towards the front, Ethan Harrison, P1, and looks like
You know,
Vincent
Ethan
Court.
Harrison, he's been up front every race so far. I don't know if at Kroger he's got his own sim in the back room where they keep all the extra groceries. You know, maybe next time I go into a Kroger, I just need to ask, you know, if they got a simulator in the back they can bring out for me. Maybe that's where I'll get my next one at. But Ethan Harrison, definitely another one of those guys to watch out for tonight. I think he's going to be really strong.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ethan Harrison, we know he's a pretty good guy. Likes to have a lot of fun. We saw him grilling some steaks in the Kroger parking lot. A little bit of a pre-celebration, perhaps, for today's event if he manages to win this thing. He's in P1 right now as they line up for this restart. Ethan Harrison will fire off, and he'll take the lead here at lap 9 of 80. And Harrison's going to get out to a huge jump here over Ryan Martin and Vincent Cortez.
Yeah, Ryan Martin got a really good start there. Passes Vincent Cortez for second. And, you know, hopefully all these drivers are going to file back out single file here.
I'm kind of excited to watch what's happening here. Dijon Hall with a little bit of a risky clear there on Jarek Hernandez. As Hernandez, a guy we haven't really heard much of this season, let alone Dijon Hall running up front. Meanwhile, Cortez and Martin wing to wing here as they try to chase down Ethan Harrison, who's leading this thing here in that 77 machine. I know we've been talking about it a lot. We've definitely set the narrative, but Outlaw Racing leading a race here. I mean, Nova Sim Racing lagging a little bit far behind. You think we'll see a Nova Sim Racing driver get aggressive, get up towards the front later on today, Q?
Well, the storyline for this whole entire GGR season so far has been Outlaw Racing versus Nova Sim Racing. Really nothing else has mattered, but I am taking note here. Ryan Ayers running P7th right now. You know, he is the best dirt UMP modified driver that lives at his house. And he's running P7, really didn't get much practice time, so it's really impressive that he's able to take that lack of skill he has in an actual, you know, dirt modified and bring it into iRacing.
Yeah, I mean, his nickname, Flying Ryan Ayers, he's a pretty big deal out there in the Charlotte region, especially as you mentioned at his house. So really good to see the 66 up here hitting the asphalt, taking a break from doing some of that dirt stuff and just coming out here and having a good run here as well. Oh, I thought I heard somebody hit the wall. Not really sure what's going on as Ryan Martin is leading this thing now. Dijon Hall's P2. Oh, we got a car back way in the grass. Not sure who that was back there. It looks like that may have been... Gosh, I don't even know who that was, but Paul Granada. We talked about Nova Sim Racing versus Outlaw Racing. Well, here comes Granada in the 04. He was a little unhappy under the hood of his race car last week, and we're looking to see if that 04 can use some of that aggression he's feeling towards the other drivers here in GGR to put together a good run here as side by side for the lead, Dijon Hall and Ryan Martin.
Yeah, you know, Paul Granado was pretty upset
wide.
last week. Yeah, it's for 3 wide here, but Paul Granado was pretty upset. I think this week, you know, I was doing a little...
Oh!
We got a car into the wall. I think he's going to keep it going. I think we'll stay green here.
That was Hernandez and the 002.
Yeah, so Paul Granada did bring with him a safety and comfort blanket into the cockpit of his race car, so I really think that's going to help him keep his cool tonight.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Paul Granada, like we said, he and Josh Patterson, both teammates, very aggressive. They can both be aggressive vocally at times. Granted, I think Josh Patterson has been a little more aggressive vocally than Paul Granada, but definitely a team of aggressive drivers they have over there at Nova Sim Racing, whether it be aggressive in their feelings of other people or aggressive of their feelings on track.
Yeah, a little contact there. You know, I'm just watching in one of our secondary screens. Ryan Ayers and Ethan Harrison getting after it a little bit of contact. One car into the grass.
That's Dijon Hall. Or no, it's Paul Granada, excuse me. As Granada's making the move on Dijon Hall. He's to the inside of Hall. He clears him here, and Patterson will clear Ryan Ayers to work his way into the top 5. Now he goes to make a move on Hall. Patterson going to clear Dijon Hall here up into P4. A couple of aggressive moves there from the 02 as Cortez goes right back at Ryan Martin again for the lead.
Yeah, we're seeing it kind of play out here, kind of like we saw at Texas, where, you know, these wide open race car tracks, you know, it's really keeping the field really close together. Really doesn't require all that much skill to draft. You know, super speedways, especially for NASCAR, if you win at one of those, apparently according to the fans, it's 100% luck. I don't know if that's true. I don't think it's true. But it seems like, caution's out.
Nick
but
Pena
here in
around.
iRacing, you know, that draft is really big.
Yeah, like we say, I mean, if in a league like this where every track is full throttle, you have to wonder, I mean, is every win truly luck for these guys? As we go back here on the WARC replay, trying to take a look here, see what happened to Nick Pena, as he was the only car around. Not sure. Looks like he's side by side with Aiden Oxidine. Went up to the wall here. Oh, it looks like he just got the wall on his own. Couldn't hold it. And spun it into the outside wall right there. He'll probably have to use a fast repair for that one. Not sure how many extra front wings his team brought to the track, but Pena right there, you see, he's got a little yaw on her as he's trying to work his way down to pit road to get some repairs on that car. Vincent Cortez, however, was the leader at the time of that yellow. As 15 laps into this thing, we've seen a lot of action here. I'm not really sure what to cover because of all the action we've seen so far here under caution.
Well, one thing I want to talk about, it looks like Nick Pena was a victim of product placement from his sponsors. You know, he's got that Oreo sponsorship across the side of his car, and it looks like out of exit of turn 2, he's just trying to crack open one of those Oreo containers he's got with him, trying to get a few cookies in. And I think, you know, that sponsor obligation where he has to eat Oreo cookies out of turn 2 every lap really just kind of, you know, got in his head, and he just kind of wrecked it against the wall there.
Yeah, man, I don't know, man. Product placement, very interesting here, especially on these Indy cars. Some have even suggested to GGR Race Control Ethan Harrison that they move the numbers, and I heard some people weren't happy about it, as Ryan Ayers is flipping. Okay, let's go take a quick look here. Oh, apparently it already happened at that point in time.
Yeah, this is really weird. It looks like he's just pacing around, and then his maybe a tie rod breaks. And then just
Maybe.
gets, you know, plowed into from behind. That's really strange. You know, these Indy cars are really built tough and durable, so really interesting to see something like that happen.
Maybe some sort of technology issue. I'm not really sure. Um, as Ryan Martin and Paul Granado race off of pit road, Ryan Martin's going to win that one. What a great pit stop by Paul Granado. Vincent Cortez, he lost a handful of positions there. He came in as the leader. He's now P4. Nick Pena out in P3 despite causing that yellow. That's interesting. He might be handed the EOL for causing the yellow, so Vincent Cortez may still be P3, but nevertheless, great pit stop by Paul Granada. What did you see out of Paul Granada's pit stop that maybe put him over the edge? You think maybe he held a more consistent speed down pit road? What do you think it was?
Well, you know, all these Indy cars have a pit speed limiter, and what that is just a button on your steering wheel. You hit it, and the car will maintain pit road speed down the entire length of the track. So really, you know, if you're gaining or losing time, it's going to be on your entry into pit road. So I don't know if Paul Granada maybe just got a better entry, maybe maintain more speed without going over. We'll obviously have to hear from race control to see if he's penalized for anything. You know, speeding potentially. You know, you don't. Some drivers forget to hit that pit road speed limiter, but it looked like it was a really solid pit stop out of Paul Granada.
Yeah, as you mentioned, some drivers, they forget to hit that pit limiter. Some guys hit it accidentally, I hear, especially here in this series. So these guys should be doubling up this time to go green, as we've got a few guys a lap down looking to get the wave around. Looks like we've got Ethan Workman, Austin Duran, Jay Mulder. I didn't quite see what happened to him that led to him going a lap down. Jarek Hernandez is stuck on pit road. Not sure what's going on there with him, but looks like Ethan Workman and the rest of them will get to take the wave around. We are 1 to green here. 2 cautions into this race. 17 of 80 laps here. $20 to the winner, and right now Ryan Martin and Vincent Cortez, they've been trading it up out there. And Paul Granada, you mentioned it, he may have a penalty. Well, he just decided to go to the back on his own anyways. Granada must be having fun driving through the field or something, because I don't know if I'd necessarily just give up P2 like that pretty early like this, but Granada must be seeing it as more of an endurance, looking to be there till the end.
Well, like you said, you know, we're still pretty early in this race. If you're going to go to the back of the field and try to save your car, I think now is the time to do it. Obviously, you don't want to really be doing that towards the end of the race. Something to note, a lot of these guys still haven't taken tires. I mean, we've kind of hit that initial, you know, if we had gone green the whole entire time, this would be about a fuel run right now. So I'm really interested to see how the tire strategy plays out and, you know, what these guys are thinking and what they're saving.
Yeah, and I mean, iRacing physics, these things are full throttle. You really don't necessarily need tires as much as you will fuel. So I'm interested to see if somehow we can manage to get a green flag pit stop. I don't think we've had one all season in GGR. Honestly, I don't think we've ever had more than one race where we've ever needed one period, but in the event that we may get green flag pissed offs, I'm excited to see if some of these guys decide to take tires, who doesn't take tires, and it'll really be interesting to see how the field kind of cycles out because of those decisions. As pace car lights are out, Ryan Martin and Vincent Cortez, like I said, they've been trading for that P1 spot pretty much lap by lap, sometimes corner by corner, and looks like Ryan Martin has it for now on this restart. As pace car will make the hard left turn in the pit road, Ryan Martin gets to choose when to fire off. Lots of guys already jumping to the top side here, trying to get a good restart. One of them, Henry Clappert, as Ryan Martin fires off, and actually looks like Henry Clappert may have an issue here on this restart. Not sure if he was in the wrong gear or what, but I saw him trying to make an aggressive move and it didn't quite pan out. As back up front, side by side for P2, Josh Patterson, he's sort of on the right rear of Vincent Cortez. Looks like he'll come back down, and down the back straightaway, he'll cross over to the inside of Vincent Cortez.
Yeah, so I just want to point out to our viewers here that may not be familiar at how IndyCars race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So when you're on the back or front stretch, you really need to be, if you're the leader of the line, you really need to be breaking the draft. What this means is you're going to, hook a left on your wheel and you're going to try to drive to the inside lane. Obviously our leader, Ethan Harrison, is not doing that right now. I guess Ryan Martin is not doing that right now. However, if you're just wondering why those cars are going to the left on the long straights, that's your reason why. Just trying to break the draft, trying to take away any advantage the cars following have.
Yeah, it's Josh Patterson now. He's the leader, and we should be able to watch him try to do something similar. Looks like he doesn't really want to do it now because they're side by side for P2 here, but I'd be interested to see if Cortez makes that move to the inside. Looks like Patterson's going to control both lanes, though, as he leads this thing, and already up to P4, Nova Sim Racing teammate Paul Granada, as Granada looking to make some moves through the field as well. Scott Ferguson Jr., a name we haven't really talked about much this season, he's rounding out the top 5 currently.
I just want to point out that Ethan Workman in the number 13 car, our winner last week at the Homestead Oval, only running P11 right now. I don't know if he's just saving his stuff and being conservative, but really interesting to see our winner go from being so strong at Homestead to just kind of laying back here.
Yeah, that is interesting. I agree. As Cortez down the bottom and Jarek Hernandez lap traffic. I'm interested to see what happens here, how these guys get by it as Paul Granada's moved himself up into P3. Hernandez on the top side. Looks like he almost got the wall actually in front of leader Josh Patterson. Looks like everyone's going to be able to dive down to the bottom as Patterson looking to hold off an aggressive Cortez here. Down the front straightaway, Patterson dives to the inside. Cortez is going to the top side to try to get the run, and not going to work here. Patterson doing a great job of breaking the draft like you mentioned earlier. As Vincent Cortez is kind of in a Nova Sim Racing sandwich. What do you think the two teammates are going to be able to do here to try to get rid of Vincent Cortez, put themselves 1-2?
Well, I don't know if the teammates are really going to be working together here. Oh, as we see, wow, that was a really aggressive jerk. I almost thought Vincent Cortez was going to wreck there. But back to your point, if Josh Patterson wants, he could, maybe check up Vincent Cortez a little as we see Cortez go to the inside here. Maybe he'll have a run on Josh Patterson. I'm sure that's not what Josh Patterson wanted. Maybe he was trying to help his teammate Paul Granada get behind him here as we see Josh Patterson and Paul Granada hook up here and run the outside lane. Maybe they will be able to get something done here and pass Vincent Cortez.
Yeah, and right now, Patterson, I was really interested to see his decision to leave that bottom open as Ethan Harrison goes to the top with them. And right now, Vincent Cortez will now lead the line, but Patterson quickly and aggressively going to the bottom. Ryan Martin's on the bottom as well, so we'll see what happens. Here's Patterson, left and right, in and out, really trying to persuade Vincent Cortez to give up that inside lane, and here he does, coming off of 4.
Yeah, we're 2x2 right here, and any time that you have a car next to you, especially here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, with these 9-degree bank turns, you're really going to be fighting the handling of your car and trying to make sure it's, turning when you want it to. Unfortunately, our drivers don't have access to the tools like a weight jacker, so they're not able to, fine tune their car for each corner and who they're following and if they're in the lead. So it's all going to come down to that throttle control and making sure the placement of your car is perfect on every corner.
Yeah, as we see here, speaking of placement, Vincent Cortez really going to be able to dive it in here and retake the lead. But, I mean, in these Indy cars, it's, like we said, it's pretty much a plate race. You can't really go anywhere. As Paul Granada up the middle, very aggressive from the 04. He actually looks like he scared Vincent Cortez. Ryan Martin in the outside wall. And Martin's got some right side damage. Jack Leslie making a move. We haven't talked about him in that 37. He's up in P6 here. as Cortez and Ryan Martin will lose quite a bit of ground, and actually Ryan Martin is losing a ton of time. I think he caked that right side, and he's going to have to go down for some repairs, I think.
Yeah, the last thing you really want to do here is knock some camber into that right side. It's really just going to upset the car throughout the whole entire corner. And, you know, these cars are running about 220, 221 miles per hour down the front and back straight, and they really maintain a lot of that speed through the corner with how much downforce and how wide each of these corners are. So the littlest bit of damage like we saw Ryan Martin get there is really going to be detrimental to the amount of speed he's able to carry, and you just see he's just losing position after position. So I don't know if you really want to bank on taking a caution and getting one and, you know, trying to get the repairs done under yellow. If it was me, I'd be taking that car down pit lane right now.
Yeah, for sure. It's Blake Kennedy now, another victim of that outside wall. Jack Leslie dives all the way to the inside. Leslie on the access road. Actually, I think that's actually part of the road course. As he's going through the infield, he took some abrasive action to try to avoid it, and into the inside wall goes Leslie.
Front
And
nose gone.
that might be a yellow. He's pulling to a stop here. He might be... I'm not really sure what's going on, but Patterson continues to lead here. Paul Granada under fire once again from Vincent Cortez. Cortez constantly a front runner here, even when he lost a few positions. He's getting them right back, and I'm excited to see if Cortez can get by Granada here. As Granada, he will put some aggressive blocks down, so this will be interesting to see.
Well, you know, unlike real life racing where track debris and, you know, parts of the car can litter the track and really be a hazard, you know, here in iRacing where the rules are made up and the points don't really mean anything, they don't really simulate parts just being on the track. So luckily, none of these drivers have to worry about, you know, puncturing a tire, destroying their car on some, you know, front wing that's been blown off some guy's car. Like we saw Jack Leslie lose his front nose. So it seems that the iRacing officials have just decided to keep a green flag. I think that's a really good call there. As we see Josh Patterson under a lot of pressure from his teammate. I don't know if, you know, who's really pushing who right now, or if Josh Patterson is kind of checking up and trying to save fuel. But this is a three-way battle right now we got for the lead right now.
Yeah, very exciting here as Granada gets right in line with Patterson. Cortez is kind of trying to force Paul Granada to go to the inside. Granada, of course, not going to leave his teammate empty-handed right now as Patterson continuing to lead here. And the top three have really broken away from P4 Dijon Hall. Of course, Hall is gaining time on him. Ethan Harrison's lost some time as well. And you were mentioning it earlier, last week's winner, Ethan Workman, was a little bit towards the back. Well, now he's up to P6. So pretty exciting up here as Paul Granada finally makes that move on Josh Patterson going to the front here.
Something I've noticed out of the 04 Paul Granada machine is that car is really twitchy running that bottom lane there. I don't know if he just burnt up some of that right front tire and it's just not turning the way he wants it to, but we see him losing a position right now, or at least battling for one. That car just doesn't look very happy right now, especially on the bottom of these corners.
Yeah, as we see here, Dijon Hall and Granada going at it side by side here. And, man, Cortez, he lost quite a bit of position. That's because he's in the inside barrier here in turn 4. I'm not really sure. I guess probably not a yellow because he was off track there. That's tough for Cortez. I believe I just saw Scott Ferguson Jr. get the outside wall in that 82, and lots of chaos happening here. And I'm not really sure who to even follow because there's been a lot of guys just kind of working solo here. Everything's kind of just falling apart, kind of falling in line here as the top 3 are kind of pulled away. Top 4, top 5 maybe.
Yeah, so we're not going to go back and look at it on the work replay just because we got some great green flag action right now. But what happened with Vincent Cortez, and you know, something these drivers really have to watch out for, is when you're running the bottom of the corners like that, you can see the white part of the track on the inside, that curving, that apron. And if you just get your left front on that apron, it's just going to upset the crap out of your car, and it's going to make it really unstable and really just want to endo. And that's what Vincent Cortez did. He just got his left front on that apron and just spun him out.
So yeah, that's unfortunately what sent Vincent Cortez down pit road. He's not taking his fast repair, it looks like, so I'm not sure if maybe he accidentally already took it or what, but he's down on pit road getting service as Dijon Hall, not a guy we've really talked much about. He's looking very competitive here. And Ethan Workman, he's also having a little bit of a drive through the field here as He's up in a P4, and he looks to make a move on Paul Granada here, drop to the inside of him, maybe go for P3, and that he does. Granada's going to come back down, though, throw a block on him, and I'm wondering how much of this blocking Workman's going to take from Granada.
Caution, yellow
Oh,
flag.
Caution's out.
Henry Clappert.
Well, GGR's most winningest driver must have had an issue there as we go to the work replay. You hate to see it for Henry.
Yeah, you really do, as we're going through the corner here. Looks like, alright, so here's the front straightaway. He was with Austin Duran, so I'm not sure if maybe Duran made a move on Clapper into 3 and 4, and that caused it.
We see Henry try to break the draft there. Really got to...
Oh, into the wall.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so either his right front tire must have been just really degraded, or he just had a bad angle of attack for that corner, and it just slid him right up into the wall and spun him out there.
well, luckily, folks, we have a special camera here just for Henry Clapper. We are going to go on board with the 34 here, try to see what was going through his head as we got to this issue here on track. So here's Clapper down the front straightaway.
Yeah, this is the Henry Cam, trademark and license. Please don't use this for any outside purposes. Thank you.
Yeah, as we see here, Henry Clapper, I mean, he just doesn't make the corner, gets in the wall. We see his wheel right there, kind of moving a little right, trying to catch it, and then he slides up on track, locks her down, and unfortunately that brought out the yellow here.
Well, you know, Brazen, watching that onboard camera of Henry Clapper, it looked like he had a really good angle into the corner. I'm not sure if maybe just didn't have enough left hand steering into it, or maybe the tires were just gone and he wasn't ready for it, but that's really, you really hate to see that for Henry Clapper.
Yeah, honestly, like you mentioned, I think the tires were just worn out. I think that's what caused it. As of course, everyone's going to come down pit road pretty much. Obviously, this is pretty close to the fuel run as Paul Granada takes out a traffic cone.
Just showing his displeasure.
Yeah, Granada not really happy with that traffic cone. I hear he's not really a fan of the color yellow. That could possibly be the issue here. Maybe Paul Granada not happy with the color yellow because that means caution, and that means he can't go fast anymore and be the fastest car on track. So Josh Patterson misses his pit box. Wow.
This is going to be a 4-tire stop for most of these guys, and that's not really going to help Josh Patterson very much, losing that much time, you know, overshooting his pit box like that. That's just not something you see to Josh Patterson, who's usually such a consistent driver.
And Ethan Harrison somehow wins the race off of pit road. The 77 up into P1 once again. We saw him lead to a restart earlier. 77 back out up front here. Not really sure if we have any Ethan Harrison fans, but if we do, make sure you let him know that his pit strategy is getting him some TV time.
Say, go Ethan, go.
Yeah.
Drop a comment, drop a like, subscribe to Work TV. It's how Brazen and I get paid. We'd appreciate it very much. But, you know, I saw Ethan Harrison last night. He posted on his Snap story of him changing the tire on his car. So I don't know if he had his pit crew for tonight with him last night, you know, just getting in some extra reps. But that was an extremely good pit stop, and he's got to be super proud of that team.
Yeah, and I heard Ethan Harrison, he actually almost ate the tire that he put on the car because for those of you who've never changed a tire before, usually your car comes with a spare tire and it's referred to as a donut. Apparently Ethan Harrison at first initially tried to eat it, and then he realized he should be putting it on his left front. So luckily though, yeah, at the Kroger parking lot, they let Ethan Harrison change his tire there, got the pit crew in there, get some extra reps. So, I mean, everyone's favorite Kroger grocery bagger. He's doing a great job out here leading this thing here at Indianapolis, lap 33 of 80.
Yeah, so I just want to talk real quickly. I know some of our fans have probably seen all these cautions we've had and thinking, you know, this is just another race, but really, we've had a lot of green flag runs, and it's just a super long race. So, I mean, only 3 cautions, correct, Brayson? 3 cautions?
Yep, 3 cautions so far in today's
only
event.
3 cautions for 33 laps is not bad, especially when the field is this tight, and really you're just trying to rely on the draft to get close, and you have such close racing by these guys. You know, one would say maybe they're under a blanket with how close they're running to each other. But these 3 cautions, I think this is the field's talent level must have really gone up. Maybe they got rid of some of the more, how do I say this, chaotic drivers for this race, but really strong showing out here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about it. Mason Soup, he got a big suspension last week, and
I think we're having a little technical difficulty here.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on. We're gonna pull up the work replay on broadcast real quick, see what's happening with GGR. I have no idea what's happening here.
Well, to our fans, this may become a radio broadcast. That would be a pretty nifty throwback, don't you think, Brazen?
Uh, give us just a second here on Work TV, folks. We are going to, we're gonna pull up a commercial real quick. We'll be right back.
The field is rolling on the back straightaway.
Get ready, this is going to be tight. Out of turn 4, ladies and gentlemen. The All-American 400 is underway.
Got to be careful. The bumps here can get you every time. Entering the corner, exiting the corner.
Hello everybody, welcome back here to the GGR Oregon Diecast Indycar series. My apologies for whatever happened there. Unfortunately, when working with technology like this, issues sometimes arise, unfortunately. Not sure what happened there, but we're back. Here's Josh Patterson making an aggressive move here. And real quick, just a little shout out once again to the Oregon Diecast on Instagram. That's right, go to @Oregon Diecast on Instagram. They are presenting the entire season here for GGR, and make sure to check out Turn4Graphics on Instagram. He's sponsoring today's event to the Turn4Graphics 200. As we see Ethan Workman and Ethan Harrison, two Outlaw Racing teammates, 1-2 here with Josh Patterson P3 and Dijon Hall P4. As these guys are 4 guys left in a blanket here as they make their way through 3 and 4, or 1 and 2, sorry.
Yeah, you know, we just had some little difficulties there. I don't know if it was the cornfields playing havoc with our TV broadcast here, but we are back. You know, I've noticed that Josh Patterson, he's got a little bit of damage to that rear wing, and it, you know, I'm really surprised that it hasn't played more of a detrimental effect on the handling of that race car, as we see him fighting right now for the lead. So that damage must not be very noticeable to him.
Yeah, for sure. Side by side with Ethan Harrison here. And we're almost halfway through this thing. And we've had a few guys quite just pretty much up front. Vincent Cortez, unfortunately, out of this one. Ryan Martin, we saw him tag the wall. We've had Ethan Harrison up front a little bit. But Josh Patterson, Dijon Hall putting themselves up front. Paul Granada. Now we've got Ethan Workman up here in the top 5. It's been pretty exciting seeing how many position changes we've seen here. As don't look now, but P7, we have Flying Ryan Ayers. He's looking to join the mix here up in the top 6 and put something together.
Yeah, Ethan Harrison and Josh Patterson right now, it's a knockdown drag out of a fight right now. As Josh Patterson dives inside, you know, we talked about it. He's just trying to break that draft, but really Ethan's just, you know, anticipating those moves, and looks like he's got a bit of a run. Going to go into turn 1 on the outside here. You know, if you go on the outside, it's obviously a longer way around, but you're going to carry a bit more momentum through the corner.
It just
But
kind
it
of
doesn't look like
depends.
Ethan Harrison's going to get that pass completed here.
It kind of depends on how much you side draft these guys. As it doesn't work as much as it does with a NASCAR, but on iRacing you can get some side draft with these Indy cars. And unfortunately, Ethan Harrison, you saw him coming off of 2. He just pulled really wide right there, had a lot of air between him and Josh Patterson, and it wasn't really helping his case. As right there, he got a little bit of a better exit off of 4. He's really having to fight hard here to try to make the move on the top side. He actually might lead this lap here. He does. And Dijon Hall, he was looking to make it 3 wide for a moment, as we'll see if Ethan Harrison can side draft his way back up to the lead here.
Yeah, I just think Ethan Harrison is just too spread out from Josh Patterson. He's just leaving a bit too much of a gap and really just allowing Josh Patterson a lot of space there to work throughout the corner. I think if he wants to get that move complete, he's just going to have to be closer on the whole entirety of the corner.
Yeah, and Dijon Hall, we noticed he's kind of jerking the wheel. Not really sure what's going on there with the 10 car, as he was kind of moving up and down the back straightaway here. But Paul Granada up to P4 as Ethan Workman kind of gets left out to dry, and a new guy joining the mix here up in this front pack, Nick Pena in the 52, that Oreo car. We saw him tag the wall earlier, unfortunately cause a yellow, but looks like he's doing pretty solid here today. As right behind them, rounding out the top 10, we have Ryan Ayers, Austin Duran, Blake Kennedy, and Henry Clappert kind of rounding out this pack here. As Anthony Sharps and Ryan Kame, Scott Ferguson, a few guys who are just a little bit further back here. As we've still got 15 guys left in this race. A guy who's been a lap down for the whole thing, Jay Mulder. Not really sure what's been going on with that 51. I guess he just hasn't caught a caution that's been helpful to him. But remember, he pit started at the beginning of this race. Kia, what do you think the difference is between him and his teammate Paul Granada? That's allowed Paul Granada to get back on the lead lap and fight for the win here, while Jay Mulder is just kind of struggling.
Well, I'm not Jay Mulder. I'm not sitting in that cockpit of the car. However, there's a lot of distractions that could be going through his head right now. I don't know if he's really fighting all that hard for a race win, or if he's just kind of hanging out and chilling, trying to have some fun. But really what he needs is a caution just to get that wave around and try to get back on the lead pack here. But, we talked about it. Paul Granada, really aggressive driver. And he's just really making some moves tonight that are putting him in a position to be one of the, competitors here at the end.
Yeah, speaking of an aggressive move, try to go 3 wide there off of 4. As Granada, he's looking to make some moves. He's been bouncing really between lanes here, just trying to figure out which lane to go to try to shake Dijon Hall, maybe try to get to his inside, and even he clearly wants to make an approach for a 3 wide move that might get Ethan Harrison too. As Harrison gets a little loose there, Granada's going to go up the middle, back to the top now, as Ethan Harrison did a nice job of keeping it straight there off exit. As we've got 7 guys left in a blanket here as we go through 3 and 4.
Yeah, we're halfway through this race right now. We're working lap 44 of 80, but I still, that's a lot of aggression out of the whole field. We still have half of this race to run. And we have 3, sometimes even 4 wide moves here trying to get positions. So as the caution comes out, I think I just kind of proved it.
I believe Henry Clappert's also involved in that 34. And we'll have to take a quick look here, see what happened between Ferguson and Clappert. Ferguson at one point was up in the top 5. I'm not sure what may have happened here. So Ferguson a little further back. Henry Clappert was up here. So I wonder if something happened here. It looks like Clappert was pushing Kennedy almost down the straightaway through 3 and 4. Oh, Clappert got the apron, tagged the outside wall. Looks like he was keeping it straight. Oh, the 21 of Ryan Kame just ran right into him, almost like he didn't even see him. And unfortunately, Scott Ferguson got collected because Ryan Kame didn't maneuver out of the way. I'm not really sure how Ryan Kame didn't see Henry Clappert there. But we're going to go back
folks,
real quick. Check another Henry Cam.
Going back to the Henry Cam.
Yep. Henry Cam right here. So this was down the front straightaway. I want to see what was going on through Henry's head right here. So he has a little bit of network issue here. Looks like he's going to get the draft of Blake Kennedy. Now down the back straightaway, we see Henry. He's getting this run. He sees the field up there. I'm not really sure what he was looking for here. He's getting really close to nearly pushing Kennedy, but just going into 3 and 4, he lifts and then just gets too much of that curve. You see how it shoots him up the track. Kind of what we saw of Vincent Cortez earlier. And I kind of want to see what happens here. He's holding the bottom, and Ryan Kame just plows into him. Luckily, Clappert keeps it straight, avoids a spinning Scott Ferguson, as he heads it down into pit road.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I do have something kind of special for the Indy 500. We have an in-car reporter, Josh Patterson, on standby. I'm going to go ahead and let him into our communications here, and we're going to give a quick interview of how the race leader is feeling this race is going. Josh Patterson, this is Quinn Haley. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, man, I got you.
Josh, you came into pits leading this race. How do you feel that the race is going for you right now?
It's going well. I think we proved that we can run up front and control the field. And I've crawled through the field a couple times already, so I'm kind of confident wherever I am. I think the biggest thing I'm worried about here is just other people being stupid and wrecking around me. So.
Well, we've seen Henry Clapper get into contact twice now, and you're a pretty close friend of Henry. What do you think's going through his head right now that's just causing him to make so many mistakes?
Well, surely nothing comprehensible. But I would assume something along the lines of. But besides that, yeah, he's been a bit of a wrecking ball this race, but hopefully he can clean it up for the end of it. I'm not sure if he's used his fast repair yet, but yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing him up front. He's won here before, so I'm sure he can find his way up front and try to do it again.
Well, thank you for your time, Josh. We're going to let you get back to this race. We wish you good luck, and hopefully we'll see you on the podium later today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Q.
Yeah, guys, that was Josh Patterson, mid-race interview there. First time we've done that so far this season as we see the driver of the O2. He's still got some of that rear wing damage. He's going to stay it out here, though, on this restart, and looks like he'll be P4 here. He's been leading a lot of this race, so exciting to see the O2 come up here and give a little bit of his perspective on what's been going on up here. As pace car lights should be out this time. Ryan Kame is somehow ahead of everybody. Am I reading that right? That Ryan Kame is ahead of everybody.
Yeah, Ryan Kame is on the access road right now, so I don't believe that our ticker is updated. I don't think it's gone through the closest scoring loop yet. So luckily for the field, they won't have Ryan Kame in front of them. As we saw, he just kind of no-braked into Henry Clapper there.
Yeah, I guess I'd rather have Ryan Kame in front of me than behind me if what we saw there with him in the 34 was any sign of how his driving is. But it looks like Ryan Kame, he may have been in front of the field, and now he's not. He's got an EOL as Paul Granada. I'm not sure what he's doing in the 04. Kind of pulling to the inside of Ethan Harrison there. The pace car lights are out. We are past halfway here, and I think it's time for a little mid-race update. Q, you want to go ahead and read this one off?
Yeah, so we've had 34 laps to go, 1 caution. We've ran 2 caution laps. That cannot be correct. That must be from when we updated. We have 4 cautions so far. I don't know how many caution laps, and we've had at least over 7 lead changes, so...
Okay, apparently when we had a technology issue, the mid-race ticker decided to mess up. So we truly don't know how many laps have been running under caution. I can tell you there's been 4 cautions, though, so we might just have to give a little mid-race update without a little square box in the bottom right there. As pace car comes off of turn number 4. Makes the hard left turn into pit road. Ethan Harrison gets to choose when to fire off here. He's got Paul Granada behind him, so we'll see how aggressive the 77 is here. There we go. On the gas is the 77, and he'll clear the 10, and he'll lead this lap here, 48 of 80. As we see Granada, he's getting passed on the outside by his teammate Josh Patterson. Looks like he's going to let him in line there. And Flying Ryanair is rounding out the top 5 right now, Q. You think that 66 has a chance to fight for the lead here?
Yeah, Ryanair is really not much of an open wheel type of guy. He runs well, it's called an open wheel modified, but only the front 2 tires are really open. However, Ryanair's, he's just a really great driver, and I really think he's going to pick up on how these cars are driving, how they're racing, and I would not be surprised if he's there at the end to compete for that win and get some of that milk that you get.
Yeah, as unfortunately, or I guess I should say fortunately for GGR, the unfortunate part is these guys don't get a choice of what milk they get to drink like they do in real life if you win the Indy 500. This is pretty much what expired in the Kroger backlot, and Ethan Harrison got to bring it to the track. He's got milk jugs for whatever driver wins, plus all their crew and some of their teammates as well. There's a chance that there's chunks in the milk. Ethan Harrison put him through a blender, so hopefully the milk tastes a lot better here in Victory Lane. And right now it looks like Josh Patterson's going to be the one to get a taste out of it.
Yeah, we talked to Josh Patterson only moments ago, and he didn't start as a leader, but we've just seen him make some really great moves tonight. He really knows how these cars are driving, and he's really my guy to watch this race. He's just been a powerhouse for the first 49 laps here.
Yeah, and as the race winds down, we've seen Paul Granada. He's very aggressive with blocks and such. He's running P2 right here, and Ethan Harrison needs to drop back to P5 as it looks like he's going to just assess the situation here. And Austin Duran, a guy we haven't seen too much of up front since he got wrecked early on. He is P7 right now in that 25 as he's with Anthony Sharps. And looking a little further towards the back, Henry Clappert is a lap down. It'll be exciting to see if he's able to get back on the lead lap there in that 34.
Yeah, we've already talked about him, but Ryan Ayers up to 4th right now. I think this is the farthest up he's been on the field. He's making a move to Dejan Hall's outside right now as Paul Granada kind of covers him off there. A little wild in that steering from Ryan Ayers, but he's put on a show for us.
I was going to say, Ryan Ayers can't be too happy about that block from Paul Granada. I'm surprised he didn't just try to drive through him, but honestly, it's probably because of the way these Indy cars are. You can't really just drive through somebody because, they're pretty much full throttle here. So, definitely interesting here as we see Ayers. He's trying to make a move on Dejan Hall as Hall's losing a lot of time to the top two here in Paul Granada and Josh Patterson. As we see Dejan Hall here P3, Ayers 4th, and Ethan Harrison rounding out the top 5 so far here as they've got a little bit of a breakaway, but the field is still pretty decently close together here, and anything could happen here in the last 30 laps.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Obviously, these drivers cannot make a full rest of the race with the amount of fuel they have right now. They're going to have to come down at least 1 or 2 more times. So, we have still yet to see a green flag pit stop, and maybe we'll be lucky enough to give our fans back home that picture.
Yeah, as like I said, GGR rarely a league where we see the green flag pit stops here, and we've seen some guys who've had some strong pit stops that put them up front. Ethan Harrison and Paul Granada, the two that come to mind for me. So, if we have a green flag pit stop chance, chances are that Ethan Harrison can power his way towards the front. Maybe even Paul Granada can get by his teammate. We did see Josh Patterson miss his box. Definitely don't want to see that happen again here as time's ticking. If we don't get a caution here in the next 10 laps or so, we might be seeing some green flag pit stops coming our way.
Yeah, I think these, potentially these green flag pit stops are going to be what separates the wheat from the chaff in the skill level of these drivers, and we'll see who really practice those I know some of our drivers probably weren't expecting to have many of those green flag pit stops, kind of like Blake Kennedy. When I talked to him, he wasn't too sure if this was really going to have that long green flag pit stop or green flag runs. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So I know Blake Kennedy really wasn't banking on it. So it'll be interesting to see how some of these drivers take those pit stops if they come.
And part of me is wondering if a guy like Blake Kennedy, as you mentioned, he wasn't really looking towards green flag pit stops. He's seen the recent history here in GGR, and never mind on that whole green flag pit stop thing, as I can't figure out who's wrecking. It's Paul Granada. He is in the outside wall right there. We're going to go back and get a replay here, see what happened to the driver of the 04, as he can't be too happy under the hood of that race car. We'll see what happens here. This was down the front straightaway, so we'll see here. Maybe he got turned going into the corner, or what happened. Looks like Dejan Hall went to the inside of Granada through turn 3. Looks like Hall washes up in a Granada, puts Granada on the wall. Great avoidance by Ryan Ayers. And Granada slides down the track and back up into the outside wall. Luckily,
well, folks, I got another one for you. We got Ethan Harrison, race director, series director. He's going to come into our broadcasting booth here and give us his thoughts and opinions. Let's drag him up. Ethan Harrison, do you have a copy?
Yes.
Ethan, you've been up front this whole entire race. How do you think the race is going for you right now?
Well, I feel like we have a really fast car right now, and honestly, my biggest fear is out of the race right now. So I feel like with that, we might have a shot at winning here. I had fun with Josh racing around there. I was learning a lot racing with him for those laps we were side by side. And so I feel like I can use that to my advantage, and hopefully if I can stay up front near the end, I can get the win in this thing.
Well, Ethan, we saw you earlier have a great pit stop. Do you think that changing that tire in the Kroger parking lot yesterday was really what helped your team get such a great pit stop done?
Oh my gosh, yes. We've had great pit stops all day. I feel like every time I've come down pit road, I've either gained spots or come off later.
Well, Ethan, I wanted to mention here, you have a lot of fans here in the YouTube comment section here. A lot of guys chanting 77, go Ethan. What do you have to say to your fans here mid-race? You think you're getting them something to, you think you're going to give them something to be happy about at the end of this race?
Oh yeah. I hope you guys stick around because I'll definitely be there at the end.
Well, thank you, Ethan, for taking the time out of this race to talk to us. I'm going to send you back down to your team comms. So good luck, and we hope to see you at the end of this race.
Thank you guys. Hopefully see you.
That was Ethan Harrison, driver the number 77 and promoter of GGR.
As we see here, he's going in to take a pit stop here. We've mentioned he's been really good on pit stops all night. Nick Pena misses his stall. And right here we see Ethan Harrison coming off of pit road. Looks like he won't quite beat Josh Patterson, who took definitely a field-only stop. But Ethan Harrison will come out P2. So Ryan Ayers P3, another guy to look out for. Austin Duran jumping up into the 4th. Anthony Sharp's in the 5th here. And let's get a quick look here at our all-time wins leader, Henry Clappert. He's coming down pit road as he just got the lucky dog. So we'll see how the 34 here of Henry Clappert can put something together to try to win this race. You think he's got something to add to that all-time wins list, Q Haley?
Well, you know, Henry Clappert is really strong at Indy. I don't know if it's because it's wide open and it really doesn't require much thought to go into driving these cars, but I've been surprised tonight that he's kind of struggled. I really thought he'd be a lot stronger than what he's shown. Maybe he's just keeping a lot of it in the bank, or maybe they just didn't get set up quite right back at his sim rig back home. But hopefully he can kind of regroup here, refresh, and come out and show some pace.
Hey man, he only had a 30-minute drive here from his house down in Florida somehow. So really excited to see what Henry can put together here. He hasn't really had much time in the seat since he only had a 30-minute drive. So we'll see what he's able to put together here in the last 25 laps or so.
Well, you know, Henry Clappert spent the last 2 days at the Charlotte Roval testing for his team, the 34 next-gen car.
84, actually.
84, I'm sorry. He was testing the 84 next-gen car that he bought to run in the NASCAR Cup Series next year. So, you know, he's got to be really tired, and I think that might be playing into why, he's really not been so aggressive tonight. Maybe he's just kind of relaxing, taking a little breather, and this is kind of his escape from that real-life woes.
Yeah, as we see here, pace car lights are out, so they'll get 2 by 2 here. Josh Patterson will lead us to the green flag here with Ethan Harrison P2, Ryan Ayers up to P3, Austin Duran P4, Anthony Sharps rounding out the top 5 as we have 14 drivers left on the lead lap. We have 15 cars left in the race with Paul Granada a lap down after that wreck. He had to go take some repairs. The 4 drivers who are out of this race so far, surprisingly only 4 out of this race, Aiden Oxidine, Jarek Hernandez, Vincent Cortez, and Jack Leslie. So pretty good field we have here. These guys actually keeping it clean. I'm debating part of that to suspensions of drivers like Mason Suit, but we'll see if things change when they come back. Maybe this was just an uphill climb here for the GGR race control. Get things done here, provide us a little bit better racing than we've had the past couple oval races.
I'd like to interject that the views of Bracing Collins do not represent the views of the whole entirety of the broadcast crew.
Just the whole.
As we see Ryan
league.
Ayers starting inside second row here behind Joshua Patterson and Ethan Harrison. It'll be really interesting to see how much he's learned on these restarts and if he can get a good launch, maybe even take the lead here.
If I need to add, there's a couple other guys suspended for this race too. GGR veteran Bob Shoemaker, kind of sad to see him suspended for this event, and Dimitri Mundros as well. So hopefully Bob comes back next week and he can be part of a good show next week. As these drivers come off of turn 4, pace car lights are out. He makes the hard left turn, and Josh Patterson fires away here with an interesting start behind, as it looks like Nick Pena. No, one of the Oreo cars. There's too many of them in this field. Doing some swerving. It looks like it was Dijon Hall, as Harrison does not get a really good restart here, and Josh Patterson seems to be pulling away early on here as Harrison and Ryan Ayers, they have a little bit of an in-house rivalry. partially due to another league, but Air is not happy with Ethan Harrison. So I'm interested to see how things play out here with 23 to go. Does Ayers help Harrison or hurt Harrison? We'll find out here as they go through turns 3 and 4. And they're going to catch the rear wing of Josh Patterson. We'll see what kind of a move Ethan Harrison can make here as they come off of turn 4.
Yeah, we've seen all night from these cars that, you know, you're really able to gain a lot of time on the car you're following. However, once you get to that rear wing, your runs kind of stall out, and it's not kind of really hard to make a pass, especially if you go to the outside, as we see Ethan Harrison do. I just really don't think you're getting a big enough run on the outside if you're not falling behind that draft. So I think a lot of these guys, if they're going to try to pass Josh Patterson, they got to, you know, utilize the draft and make sure they have a really good run into the corners if they want to clear them.
And Josh is not a guy that they will easily overtake no matter top or bottom because, well, for one, Patterson won't give up that bottom line. And so Ethan Harrison, we see, loses some time there working the top. Now we have Ryan Ayers flying. Ryan trying to make a shot here at Josh Patterson. Down the front straightaway, Ayers following in the draft of Patterson as he takes him down the front straightaway here. As Q mentioned earlier in the race, that's going to be a really key thing here for the leader, is trying to break that draft, moving up and down the straightaway here as Ayers takes to the top side. Will Austin Duran make a move to the inside of Ayers? No, he'll back it off as they come down to the back straightaway here.
Yeah, I think that was really smart of Austin Duran, just recognizing that you really don't want to put yourself into a 3-wide position if you don't have to. And I think by letting Ryan Ayers fight Josh Patterson so hard, he's just going to get picked on the top here, and Austin Duran might be able to pick up P2 just from allowing Ryan Ayers to fight Josh Patterson so hard.
As Ayers, he tried to make the move to the top, same one that Ethan Harrison made. And don't look now, P4, Jay Mulder, we talked about how he's had some issues here early on, had a pit start, was a lap down. Now the 51 is moving Duran as he's up in the P4. So Nova Sim Racing pretty much traded out Paul Granada for Jay Mulder here in this top 5, as we'll see if the 51 can help his teammate Josh Patterson up here, as Patterson doing a great job controlling the field. And Ethan Harrison,
yeah, big wreck out of Ethan Harrison. Keeps it rolling, but that's just going to put him really behind on the back foot here. He's definitely got some damage on that car. And, you know, as we talked about, I don't know if he has a faster car left. He's just going to have to limp that thing back home.
He is struggling to steer. The toe is knocked out. You see that left front wheel. And that is unfortunate for the 77. He's going to look to catch a caution here as they're 3 wide for the lead down the front straightaway. Duran, Ayers, and Patterson. Ayers is holding on that top side like I've never seen anyone do before here. He actually might be able to take the lead here. Off of 4, Ayers is going to take the lead from the top side.
That was a really professional and good move out of Ryan Ayers, just getting that wide arc into 1 and out of 2. I mean, you know, as we talked, he's a real-life racer. He's got a lot of seat time underneath him. And that was a really great move to take away the race lead from who we thought, Josh Patterson, you know, the guy we picked to win this, and a guy who's shown a lot of strength.
Yeah, so Ryan Ayers, new leader here. First laps led here in GGR are going to be right here as Patterson will nudge to the inside of Ayers. But from what we've seen, Ayers may be okay giving up that inside line. He can work the top side pretty well. That's something I thought Ethan Harrison was going to be trying earlier, and it just quite didn't pan out for him. Another guy who snuck into the top 5 here, Blake Kennedy in the 75. He's up in a P4 as the 75 looks to make a couple moves here as the race gets later and later.
Yeah, you know, as the race keeps just ticking down laps here, and as we get closer to the finish, we're seeing a lot of those guys who have been strong throughout the whole entirety of the season just starting to make their way to the front here. I guess the switch must have flipped, and they all decided that now is the time to go.
As we see Ayers and Patterson side by side, Duran in line with Ayers, Kennedy in line with Patterson. The top 4 guys left under a blanket here as we come to 17 laps left in this thing. Can Ayers side draft his way around Patterson? Will these two even be in the top 2 at the end of this thing? I don't even know what we're about to witness here. This is going to get crazy, I think, as these guys wheel to wheel here down the back straightaway.
Yeah, you know, as many corners and as many laps as we make 2x2 like this, that's just going to keep on adding in the possibility of a caution. I mean, we can only flirt with those cautions and flirt with those wrecks so many times before one does happen, you know, especially here in GGR, which seems to be pretty caution prone. However, these guys are keeping it really clean. I'm really impressed tonight.
Lots of shuffling here towards the front between Ryan Ayers and Josh Patterson, and Austin Duran into the outside wall there. I'm not sure if he actually has damage from that. It looked like his right rear caught the outside wall. Maybe a little bit of netcode benefiting the 25 here. Yeah, if you don't know what netcode is, pretty much a little bit of a network issue may have actually helped Austin Duran in that case, as he kind of glitched through the wall there, but very close for the driver of the 25 there. That could have been a caution for sure.
We are still 2x2. I mean, this is just really impressive out of these guys. Really keeping it calm, keeping it mature, and the fans are just getting some great racing right now.
As we see, I mean, the field really isn't separated too much. Back to Ryan Kame here in P13, as unfortunately Ethan Harrison had to take that fast repair, so he's a lap down with Paul Granada. He's going to have to be racing Granada for that lucky dog. 15 to go, though. And, I mean, we've got, looks like 7 guys under a blanket here. 8 guys, possibly. A 9th guy, even, with Henry Clapper. And these guys are just going to keep gaining ground on each other as these guys battle it out side by side here for the lead. And Ryan Ayers, I mean, he's probably the best I've seen on that top side so far tonight. The 66, really impressive so far.
Yeah, as we get close to the finish line here, you know, all these drivers are going to start tasting that milk and just seeing that $20. I mean, that buys you a new car or a new track here on iRacing. So each of these guys are going to be fighting more and more as these laps tick down to claim that prize.
As we see a little bit of an aggressive move out of Jay Mulder in that 51. He kind of slid up through a block on Duran and then came back down to the inside. So Mulder now trying to control P3. Blake Kennedy now making a move to the inside of Austin Duran here as Kennedy tries to go for P4. And Paul Granada does not care that he's a lap down. He's going to get this lap back on his own power as he's pretty much 6th on track, but he's going to try to pass these guys here. Granada going for his lap back. There he goes on Blake Kennedy. And watch that 04. I'm excited to see if he's able to get that lap back.
Yeah, so we're working lap 68 here. I just want to ask to our viewers, just type in the chat, who do you think is going to win? And we'll come back with some of your responses here in a few minutes and just see what you have to say about the finale of this race.
Meanwhile, Paul Granada slowly maneuvering his way forward. Blake Kennedy, he kind of backed off right there. I wonder if Kennedy saw Granada and went, you know what? I don't want to be up here right now. The 04 aggressively trying to get his lap back. And somehow Austin Duran is losing time here to the top 3 as Ayers has finally pulled in line with Josh Patterson. He's being a little more patient here. And Jay Mulder up into P3. So I'm really interested to know what's going on with Austin Duran in that 25, seeing what's causing him to kind of lift off a little bit like that as they head through 3 and 4, or 1 and 2. I get those turns confused a lot.
Well, they're all 9 degrees and they all look the same, so I do not blame you. But, you know, this is a really tight battle right now. I mean, we have 5 cars, you know, relatively under a blanket. Any of them at any moment could just cause a big one right now and take out a couple cars, but these guys are really keeping it clean.
Yeah, Paul Granada right there, wing to wing with Austin Duran. There he goes now to make the move on the 25. And Patterson bringing that draft down is actually going to help Paul Granada as he tries to get by Duran. And you've got 3 Nova Sim Racing teammates up here. At what point does Paul Granada stop going to get that lap back and try to help his team here, as Ryan Ayers is pretty much in a bad position here with the Nova guys, as Jay Mulder's going to get to his inside here.
Well, you know, as you said, Ryan Ayers has just been really good at working that outside lane. I think he's been kind of class of the field tonight. I don't really think it's going to be detrimental. If anything, it'll just slot in and P4 behind those Nova Sim Racing guys. However, you know, he's shown speed, so he's running P2, so he must have made that outside line work. You know, he's been really strong here tonight. I'm really surprised by the speed and pace that Ryan Ayers is showing.
At what point, if you're the 51 or the 02, do you stop being teammates and you're going for the win between yourselves? I mean, between the 02 and the 51, each of them is definitely going to want to win this race, especially with $20 on the line and some possible curdled milk as well. So you really want to see here, I mean, is Josh Patterson going to be aggressive and block Jay Mulder? Is Jay Mulder even going to be aggressive enough to go for the move on Patterson? And that's only detailing if they can get by Ryan Ayers here. So really coming down to an interesting race here, an interesting finish as we are coming around to take 9 laps left in this thing.
Well, you know, Jay Mulder, he was racing the NASCAR Legacy trucks at Charlotte last week. He got moved out of the way, lost a race win because really he just wasn't aggressive enough. So I don't know if he learned some lessons and maybe he'll be willing to move his teammate. As Ryan Ayers takes the lead here from Josh Patterson.
That was a huge move by Ayers. He just flew by on the top side. Not sure if Patterson was lifting to try to get with his teammate or what. But Ayers, as you see here, he's breaking the draft very aggressively down the back straightaway here. this is not a good sign for him because there's 3 Nova Sim Racing cars right behind. The O2, the 51, and the O4. Better hope Ryan Ayers is good at playing some defense here because his offense is going to have to be equally as strong, trying to hold off Josh Patterson, but trying to stay ahead of Josh Patterson at the same time.
Yeah, Ryan Ayers stuck to the outside lane there, and that just gave Josh Patterson the inside, really just a shorter way around the track, and it's a lot faster most of the time. So Ryan Ayers is going to slot back into P2 here.
As here's
As we see,
P6,
Henry
Henry
Clapper
Clapper,
in
yeah.
P6 leading his
So
own line right now.
Clapper and Workman have been kind of going at it here for P6, Ryan Martin as well, but it's interesting to note, so this is where P6 is, that's where 5th is. There is a huge break between the front pack and that second pack. There's really interesting battling going on here for 6th. I'm not sure what's going on between Workman and Clapper, the 2 teammates, but these guys really might want to stop battling each other and try to get single file because they are not going to catch these leaders otherwise unless there's a yellow. And right now, I mean, it's all down to Fly and Ryan Ayers and Josh Patterson in that O2 as these guys go wheel to wheel here. Patterson almost threw an aggressive block there, realized a little bit better of it, but now he's got all of his Nova teammates in a line, and Paul Granada now making an aggressive move as he's looking to play a little bit of a playoff spoiler here, if you will, trying to take away the win here from Josh Patterson, or in fact maybe help Josh Patterson get the win. I'm not really sure what Paul's goals are here as we head to 6 laps to go here coming to the line.
Yeah, I mean, I got to ask you, Brazen, do you think that Paul Granada would move his teammate for a race win here at Indy?
Well, I mean, it's interesting because, I mean, if he was on the lead lap, then yes, but at the same time, I know Granada, he came into this race with the intentions of being very aggressive and just really trying to just give it his all. He didn't really care what happened. He didn't seem like he had much regard even for his teammates. So that's why I'm really confused. I mean, what will Granada do here as he gets passed by Austin Duran, and it looks like Blake Kennedy as well. So there's Ethan Workman in 6th, and Scott Ferguson has taken 7th. Henry Clappert up to 8th as they get single filed out for now. And they're going to have to try to work to catch the top 5 here, but they don't have much time to work with here. 5 laps left in this thing.
Well, I think that could go to show just how aggressively Paul Granada is racing right now. I mean, I failed to realize that he was a lap down, just how aggressive he's being, just making moves on Ryan Ayers, trying to get in front of him. You really don't see that on lap cars too often.
And Ryan Ayers lost some time to Josh Patterson. Austin Duran now coming in with a run on the inside here for P3. As Ayers will come down the track here to take P2. Duran with the run will fight Jay Mulder for P3 as they try to break up the Nova Sim Racing guys. And Blake Kennedy now, he's the next guy in line as the top 2 have a small little breakaway here as Ayers in line with Patterson. 4 laps left in this thing.
Yeah, we saw Ryan Ayers kind of get a gap there to Josh Patterson. He must have been just kind of lifting a bit to try to
contact,
get a big run.
Duran and Ayers.
There.
Oh, Blake Kennedy around. Paul Granada as well. That will be a yellow. And wow, Kennedy and Granada not going to be happy about that one. And that's part of that big Outlaw Racing. That Outlaw Racing, Nova Sim Racing rivalry we've been seeing. So I don't know what happened, if maybe Kennedy got into the back of Granada, if Granada pinched him down. So we see down the front straightaway here, Kennedy, he definitely had the run, and obviously this was the time to try to be aggressive here. So coming into the corner, Granada, Kennedy was on his inside. Oh, looks like Kennedy almost neck-coated Paul. I don't really think that was either of their faults.
No, I don't think Blake Kennedy would make a move that would cost him a race like that.
No, and honestly, that wasn't really anything Paul did wrong. I mean, Paul's the lap car, so generally I could see where frustration may be shown. But yeah, that's interesting here, as Duran somehow ended up P2 over Ayers at that yellow. And this is going to bunch the field back up here. We had some guys like Workman and Clappert a little further back. Scott Ferguson Jr., he lost a couple positions avoiding that wreck, I believe. So this is going to shape up for a green-white checkered finish here. And I'm wondering, do you think we pit here for fuel and tires, or do you think these guys have enough fuel to make it to the end? It looks like for most of these guys, they've been out here for over 20 laps since the last time they pit. Of course, some of those laps have been spent under caution, so fuel's been saved a little bit. Honestly, this could have been a race to the end on fuel. Do you think these guys pit here and fill her up, or do you think that some of these guys may have enough to make it to the end?
I think the more important question is, should they take tires? And in my opinion, they should. I mean,
Yeah,
we've seen
everyone
that
coming
tires
down
are worth
here.
a bunch, and everyone's coming down. However, we do have the race sponsor Nick Pena ready on standby to talk to us. So I'm going to bring him into the broadcasting booth here.
Yeah, Nick
Nick
Pena.
Pena, do you have a copy?
Oh, hey, hello, hi.
Hi, Nick. So quick question. What made you decide to sponsor these GGR Indy 500 race tonight?
So, Ethan could not get any sponsors in for this race, so I kind of felt bad, so I just went ahead and sponsored this race, and I probably won't be sponsoring anything else, but it's fun.
Well, you're a man of the people for helping out a grocery bagger at Kroger put
Oh,
on a
hell yeah.
great race. Brazen, you got any questions for Nick Pena?
Yeah, Nick, this is a question we've had pretty popular with some of the fans here. Why is your name Turn4Graphics? Do you not care about road courses, or what's the deal there?
You see, turning left is a little bit easier than turning right, so you know what? I don't really know why it's Turn4Graphics. It just kind of sounded cool, so we just went with it.
All right, folks. Well, that is Nick Pena. He is the sponsor of today's event. Go check him out on Instagram at Turn4Graphics, as he's sponsoring today's Turn4Graphics 200 here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the GGR Oregon Diecast IndyCar Series. So
Yeah, we appreciate all three of our drivers, Josh Patterson, Ethan Harrison, and Nick Pena for coming in the broadcast booth and just giving us a little insight into the different way this race is going.
Ryan Kame is leading this.
Well, we saw him come down pit road a couple laps ago, so he must have fresh enough tires where he feels confident leading. However, I would not be surprised if it doesn't take long for Josh Patterson to get past him.
I don't even know what to say. I keep saying I'm interested, I'm excited, but I mean, that was pretty much the main two emotions I have. I'm intrigued this time around. I'm intrigued as to how Ryan Kame has played his strategy to the point where he can stay out here. Actually, Kame was on the same strategy that some of these other drivers were on, so I'm not sure. Did Kame save some fuel, or is he just
might
gonna
not
send
have any
it?
tires left and just had a. There's so many variables that went into this. However, I'm looking at lap times here, and prior to the caution coming out, Ryan Kane was 5/10 slower than our race leader Josh Patterson.
May have
So
saved some
there is
fuel there.
definitely a bit of a speed differential here.
So Ryan Kame, he's leading his first laps here in the GGR Oregon Diecast IndyCar Series. Kame, he's a little bit newer guy to iRacing. He's had his ups and downs in several leagues, several issues with the brake pedal, especially as we saw today. Couldn't quite miss Henry Clappert sitting stalled in the middle of the racetrack for several seconds. But nevertheless, the 21 of Ryan Kame is leading this thing, and we're going to see if there's a great show or a great mess that's going to occur here on this first green-white checkered. I believe it's a green-white checkered, correct?
Yes, it will be a green-white checkered. However, we haven't seen that many cautions tonight. We've seen a lot of green flag runs, and I'm hoping that's how it stays tonight, and we can go green the rest of this race. However, with Ryan Kane being up front, he doesn't have much experience leading the field, so do not be surprised if there's a lot of confusion and turmoil about to happen.
Ryan Kame, I wonder if he even knows that he's supposed to be breaking the draft on the straightaways. If I'm Jay Mulder, I think I'm going to capitalize here, because Patterson and Ayers, as good as those two have been, Mulder seems like he's in a little bit better position being in the inside line. I don't know, man. It's coming down to a green-white checkered finish here. Pace car left into pit road. Ryan Kame gets the call to restart for the first time ever in his GGR career. He fires off quickly here, and that'll allow Josh Patterson to actually get down. Jay Mulder just drove up into Ryan Ayers.
Yeah, I guess Jay Mulder thought that he could go up to that top lane, but Ryan Ayers was there. However, we saw Josh Patterson with that brilliant move just covering off the inside.
Yeah, and the field is here, but Ryan Kame is leading by actually quite a decent margin here down the back straightaway. Ryan Kame, could he win his first ever race in the biggest of the season, the Turn4Graphics 200 here, as Ayers and Patterson making moves here for P2 through 3 and 4. Ryan Kame on an island right now.
Josh Patterson, though, with a much better line through those corners. He's going to have a better run down the front straight. This will be his chance here to catch him.
White flag this time by for the 21 of Ryan Kame. Can he come home in victory lane in his first ever GGR race? He goes through 1 and 2. He misses the corner. 3 wide for the lead. Ayers and Patterson came up the wall. Ryan Ayers to the lead.
Ryan Kame starting out front really shook it up. Ryan Ayers with a sizable lead trying to break the draft now down the back stretch. It's all going to come down to this entry in a 3 and 4.
They don't call him Flying Ryan for nothing. He took to the middle there, got the lead, and it's going to be all down to what Josh Patterson can do. Austin Duran now throwing his hat into the ring, trying to take the lead here. Coming off of 4, will Josh Patterson be able to make the move on Ryan Ayers? To the inside, they're wrecking behind. Patterson to the top, nobody's going to get him. Ryan Ayers wins the Turn4Graphics 200 as they wreck across the line.
My heart is pounding right now. That was an insane finish, and I'm really happy that we were able to broadcast for our fans. I mean, we saw Ryan Kame just stack up both Josh Patterson and Ryan Ayers, and Ryan Ayers was able to capitalize on that and just make the move through the middle.
Wow, I think we got to I mean, we're not going to get much of a burnout here. I think we got to replay that finish right here and see what we can piece together from that whole ordeal. As wow, that was chaotic. So here we are on the restart here, going through this whole thing. That's actually the white flag, excuse me. Ryan Kame, he just washed up the track. That allowed Ryan Ayers to go up the middle there, take the lead, and then right here, it was all about playing defense. Did a great job breaking the draft. It probably helped him out a little bit that Austin Duran had a little bit of a chance to attack Josh Patterson there. I think that may have hindered Patterson a little bit there, especially that wiggle off the corner exit, as it didn't look like Patterson had much for Ayers, as they did a really good job powering through here to the end. Josh Patterson tried to make the move to the inside, went back to the top. Great finish there. Patterson clips Ayers and around he goes, but man, what a finish for the driver of the 66 and the rest of the field, honestly. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back here on Work TV following this commercial break.
The field is rolling on the back straightaway.
Get ready. This is going to be tight. Out of turn 4, ladies and gentlemen. The All-American 400 is underway.
Gotta be careful. The bumps here can get you every time. Entering the corner, exiting the corner.
Hello everybody and welcome back here to the GGR Oregon Diecast Indycar series here. As we had a little bit of an issue here, that post-race incident with Ryan Ayers actually gave him an incident penalty. Luckily the GGR admins decided that the incident was after the race, so the win stands here. So despite us saying he finished 12th, Ryan Ayers actually came home with the victory here, and we're going to get to talk to him live here on Work TV as we're going to drag him up here. Ryan, you're in the Work TV booth, buddy. Do you have a copy?
I do.
Well, Ryan, it was definitely, you honestly may have been the most impressive driver, either you or Josh Patterson, of course. Both of you guys controlling the field, but you especially because of the way you worked the top side there. What do you think it was that you were able to do that guys like Ethan Harrison just couldn't quite figure out to get that top lane working tonight?
You just had to swing out wide, try to pinch him down going in as much as you could, try to side draft, but uh, that was a gnarly 30 laps for sure. That was a lot of fun with Josh. So I just want to thank everybody for throwing on the series.
Yeah, Ryan, that was an amazing move through the middle. I mean, we had Ryan Cam, one of the slower guys tonight, really just kind of holding up the field. What kind of gave you, the foresight that maybe a move to the middle when he kind of washed up the racetrack into one was kind of the right thing to do?
Honestly, it was a last minute decision. I was actually side drafting Josh, trying to go into one and pinch him behind Ryan, and Ryan just drifted up, and I was like, well, middle's open, so it was either going to work or we were all going to wreck.
Well, that was an amazing move, an amazing show. Congratulations on your win. Do you have anyone you want to thank tonight?
Dark Horse Racing, second race out in this thing, and brought her victory lane. So I just want to thank everybody with DHR, Justin Haley, Quentin Haley, Brazen Collins, and Kaz Gralla that are my teammates in the TNT series and the upcoming open wheel series. So I just want to thank them, Bush Light, Trulies, just everybody that sponsors me.
All right, Ryan. Well, congratulations on the big win tonight. You get $20 courtesy of Ethan Harrison. Actually, I think it's courtesy of Turn4Graphics technically, but congratulations on your win here in the Turn4Graphics 200 here in the GGR Oregon Diecast IndyCar Series. We'll see you around, Ryan. Congratulations once again.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys, that was Ryan Ayers. They call him Flying Ryan, and he certainly showed why they call him that tonight because he took home the big win here. Now we gotta try to pull up Josh Patterson here. Due to the technical difficulties. Of course, that thing says he finished first. Unfortunately, he came home second. Josh Patterson, you're in the Work TV booth, buddy. Do you have a copy?
Oh, man.
Well, it came down to a close finish. You and Ryan, really, honestly, the two guys, I mentioned it in Ryan's interview, the class of the field. Ryan was very impressive. He was able to work that top side in. What do you think it was about that green, white, checkered restart that kind of held you back from taking the win here tonight?
Ryan came. So he decided to play the greatest strategy move I've ever seen and stay out on like 35 lap old tires. He then proceeds to jump the restart, which was good on him. Good job. And then, when we inevitably caught him because he was slow as shit, he tried to brake check me going into turn one, blew the corner, which essentially gave Ryan the win, which is unfortunate. I think we really would have had a good shot at this one and probably won it if that didn't happen. But yeah, I just want to give him a huge shout out for tonight's event. Really happy with the way he could wheel that thing around the track tonight. Otherwise, we had a really good race. Those Outlaw Racing guys were hazards all night, especially Henry Clapper, Blake Kennedy. They were all over the place. I know they were both involved in wrecks, so just, hate that they're all calls in yellows like that. But on a serious note, yeah, Ryan Ayers did a good job. He was really, really fun to battle. Yeah, no, it took everything out of me to try to hold him off, and then, yeah, it was just unfortunate at the end there. But, yeah, no, it's still a really good race, and yeah, just a lot of really good battling with him, and it just sucks it ended that way.
Well, Josh, congratulations on your P2 finish there. Do you have any sponsors you want to thank?
Oh, hold on. Forgot to pull up. What? Screw it. We'll go with free ball. I got to thank Ethan for running the lead. I got to thank JP Designs, Belfort Property Restoration, NTN, Endurance Distributions, Dunk Pools, Work TV Broadcasting, Patriot Clutches, Circle B Diecast, Visco Media, the coveted Henry Cam, Iriser95 on Twitch. Got to thank you guys for broadcasting tonight. Got to thank everybody on track, except for Ryan Cam, for giving me a great race tonight. And yeah, just got to thank everyone for putting it on. And, yeah,
All right,
everything.
folks, that was Josh Patterson, who unhappily finished P2 here. We apologize for his language here on the air, and we don't actually condone the vulgar language here. But sometimes you get the heat of the moment from these drivers, so sometimes you just got to let it happen.
That was just Mad Under the Hood Part 2 Electric Boogaloo from Josh Patterson.
As Austin Duran will be coming up here in the booth. And Austin, you're in the Work TV booth, buddy. You have a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, you took home P3 here tonight. Had a little bit of an early wreck. Really made a good bounce back though, running top 5 late in the race. What do you think you could have done there on that green-white checkered restart to try to get by Josh Patterson and Ryan Ayres, try to take home the win? Do you think there was anything you could have done, or do you think it was just kind of left up to fate?
Yeah, kind of my only hope there was to let him wreck. But yeah, it was a really crazy restart with Ryan Kane staying out on tires, and yeah, that made it super eventful. It was a lot of weaving and dodging to get around him, so just happy to bring it home P3.
Well, congratulations on your P3 finish there, Austin. What really, what else did you really need out of your car tonight to really make that, finish happen the way you wanted it? Obviously you wanted to win. What else did you need tonight?
One of the main reasons I was lacking was like corner exit because I would always get tight off the corners. I feel like I used my tires up too much, but yeah, there wasn't really much I could do there at the end. Just right around in the draft.
Well, Austin, we appreciate you being here tonight. Podium finish for you here in the 25 machine. Great run for you. And hopefully we'll see you sometime in this interview booth, maybe hopefully finishing a position or two better. Congratulations tonight on the podium, Austin. We'll see you around.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Thank you.
All right, guys. Austin Duran. Actually, I forgot to ask him who he wants to thank. That's all right. We actually have a special interview here, folks, before we go back. Go back into the non-broadcasting realm here. We are going to bring in Paul Granata. We saw him involved in that last lap wreck. We're going to get a little bit of a conversation with him. Paul, you're in the Work TV booth, buddy. Do you have a copy?
I do.
All right, well, Paul took home P14 tonight. Unfortunately, doesn't really show his speed. I mean, we saw him up there running pretty much fifth in the running order of the guys on track at one point in this event. Paul, we wanted to come and talk to you about what happened there, that green-white checkered restart. You were really unhappy that you couldn't get your lap back, and you got involved in a wreck there. Run us through what happened there.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck Ryan Kane was doing. He was driving like an asshole all night long. I don't know, man. Henry was complaining about him about lap 20, and I was like, I'm gonna stay away from this guy. And well, Ryan Kane decided it was time to stay out on 20 lap old tires, and then tell the whole field that he was going to win the race on his strategy. And then didn't even know where to go on a restart. He had to queue up and ask Ethan multiple times, "Hey, where do I go? Do I go on green or do I go on pace car?" So we had this numbnut who decided to stay out, and well, we saw what happened on 2-4 and how it was taste, I think.
All right. Well, folks, you can hear Paul Granata not very happy under the hood of that race car. Thank you for coming up here to do this interview with us, Paul, and hopefully we see you next week, but in a little bit better light. And that'll do it here for us tonight here at Work TV. It was definitely a lot better race than we've seen here the past 3 races here in GGR. So definitely things looking a little bit better here. What are some of your takeaways from this week, Quentin, heading into next week's race as we stick with the oval theme? We won't go to a road course for a couple weeks here in GGR's Oregon Diecast Indycar series as we stay home here on the oval side of things, going to Chicagoland. What are your takeaways?
Yeah, I think this is just another week of a lot of emotions playing out. I think that Nova Sim Racing, Outlaw Racing team rivalry is only going to grow larger. And I think we're seeing a lot of these drivers really getting comfortable behind the wheel of these cars. So I'm really looking forward to next week. I think this race was an amazing show, even excluding the last couple of laps there. This was a great race, and I'm really looking forward to Chicagoland.
All right, folks. Well, that'll do it for us here tonight on Work TV. We thank everyone who tuned in tonight for the Turn4Graphics 200 here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway here in the GGR Oregon Diecast IndyCar Series. Make sure that you go check out Oregon Diecast on Instagram. Give them a follow at Oregon Diecast on Instagram. And make sure you go follow Turn4Graphics on Instagram as well at Turn4Graphics, as you see spelled there on your screen in that race logo. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight to Work TV's exciting presentation here at the Turn4Graphics 200. Make sure you tune in next week as these guys will take on Chicagoland Speedway. Another fun full throttle 1.5. We'll see if some of these rivalries from Indianapolis, such as Paul Granata versus Ryan Kane, boil over, or who knows what will happen there. Congratulations to Ryan Ayres on his win, and thank you everyone for watching as this is